Hi and welcome back to this course. Now in this section we are going to go through some of the advanced topics when it comes to managing Kubernetes clusters. So in our first video we're going to look at both continuous integration and continuous deployment with Kubernetes. So let's go through the concepts in terms of continuous integration and deployment. So first is continuous integration. So this is where you ensure that updates to your code from various development pipelines are sent to a central build pipeline for your application. Now, the most popular source code configuration tool is Git, and a lot of continuous integration tools such as Jenkins or even those on AWS have this compatibility with the source code configuration tool, and Git is one of the most popular ones used in the development community. Now, continuous integration allows you to have an automated way to merge your code. But one of the more core aspects around this is that you need to have a good governance policy around this. Since you are doing an automated merge of your code, there are always possibilities that the wrong code merge can occur, and this could have issues when you do your final deployment of your application. So you need to have a proper governance around continuous integration. Next, we have the concept of continuous deployment. So here we carry out an automated deployment of the artifacts onto different infrastructure components. So here the code is tested and sent for deployment. One of the most important aspects is to ensure that you have both backup and recovery procedures in place. Since you are doing an automated deployment, there are a lot of things that can go wrong. Hence, it is very important to have your backup and recovery procedures in place. So now we've looked at continuous integration and continuous deployment. So this is known as the CI/CD pipeline. So in the CI/CD pipeline, you first have your source code versioning tool, such as Git. Here you make your code changes. Once you make your code changes, they are sent to a build pipeline. It is then tested and then you deploy your code. So now we can have the same concept when it comes to a Kubernetes cluster. So let's say again you make your code changes to your Git repository. You do a build of your application. We then push the application as a container, and then that container will be pushed to a web frontend pod in your Kubernetes cluster. And then you could do the same thing which you do for your web frontend, also for your database tier. So for both of these pods in your cluster, you can ensure that you have a separate CI/CD pipeline. The next, when it comes to the cluster itself, so I said you could have pods which could point to an older version of your images in Docker Hub. You could then have a service which is pointing to this. When you are ready to make an application change, what you can do is that you can have new pods which point to new version or new images in Docker Hub. And then you could have a new service pointing to the new pods. And then you could decommission the old service accordingly. This is the new concept when you're using continuous deployment. So this is on a high level on how you can actually manage continuous integration and continuous deployment for your Kubernetes cluster.